I'm Pops. We're going to talk Andor. Here we are. This is Disney Star Wars, its latest show in episode 6. So, hmm, I haven't had time to digest it. I have to tell you, it was. Um, I want to go over a couple things that I like, but I can tell you that it hasn't sort of like steered my impression of the whole series like better or worse of any major significance. So, um, all right, so obviously the show has been centered around Cassian Andor, who's moved from an incident where he was searching for his sister in basically a brothel. He gets confronted by two guys who turned out to be Imperial contracting security guards. He gets into a scuffle with one, kills one, so therefore he's forced to murder the other one, and they try to figure out how to get off planet. That's the first 3 episodes. The person that gets him off planet kind of knows who he is and wants to hire him for a job, takes him to another remote planet. I just call it the plant planet because I just don't care. And there's a bunch of shepherds, and they're basically not really shepherds. They've been put together as a team. It's going to break into this little Imperial base and steal millions and millions of dollars of credits. And that's what happens in episodes 4 and 5 is they talk about it and they train and they point to a lot of stuff and they walk around a lot. And that was what happens. And in this episode, we actually are going to execute the plan that's been built up for 5 episodes. That's what happens. It's about as tedious as it sounds, folks. I wish I could tell you that it had a different sort of feel, but that is pretty much what's been going on. We are 6 episodes. Last week I talked about, if you go to my last video, you'll see I talk about how this is kind of the Disney formula. They put together, pieces of the beginnings and pieces of the end, and then everything else we're just sort of like left for fill-in and second-rate creators that will come along. And in this case, it's Tony Gilroy. This episode was written by his brother Dan. So it starts very slow, similar to the last few episodes, where they're basically there. They're having breakfast. They're going to chit-chat about sleeping. And, I can't sleep. You'll sleep fine. I will say this kid, he starts to grow on you a little bit because the genuineness and the authenticity of him comes through in this episode. It kind of like expands on some stuff that had been developed previously. This is the Imperial scumbag, Colonel something or other, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get to some names here in a minute. So this is okay, yeah. All right. So the black dude is the dude that's in on it. The dude I just showed you, he's the local scumbag. The Imperial guy on the right, he's the guy that is like the official that we need to kind of keep an eye on. He's almost like the British guy that works for the Empire. The rest of the people are just on like some outpost somewhere. The Empire could care absolutely less about any of them. So basically, it's a little bit of a generic back and forth about, what's going to happen or whatever. And you got this guy and his family, and they're going to go to this event. They're trying to schmooze this guy so that they can get off planet. Basically, it's the long and short of their motivations. This takes way too long. Here's our black dude that's in everything. I actually don't think I can really keep track of who's who because I don't care enough. There's a quick, they're not quick. Sorry, nothing is quick in this show. There is a little subplot back and forth about radios and communication. And again, a lot of walking and talking about things before we finally get into things. And then as the pilgrims coming into view, this is the guy at the center stage, this guy in the front, this bearded dude with a staff. And then there's a whole bunch of people behind him. And it was funny because in the shot early on, this is kind of what they look like. And then later on, you'll see the shot I want to show you. Anyway, they get this communication thing working, and they're all dressed up as Imperial officers so that they can be snuck in and get into this vault. That's pretty much the premise right here. So they've kind of been snuck in as being sort of like the Garrett. They're not a garrison. There's 4 dudes cosplaying as Imperial soldiers right here, leading in this group of the tribes people, village people. It doesn't really matter who they are. And then you have this quick shot of basically, we're going to waste some screen time for you to get what a bad dude this dad is. He's a horrible man. He mocks his son who doesn't want to wear some sort of fancy dress. Mom says he has a fever and he's sick. They should stay home. I guess I don't know if this was I don't even know if this was supposed to fill time or if this was just I don't know. There's no point. It's just, who cares? No, it doesn't matter. So the black dude, he speaks the local language. He's our spy, of course, and there's some translation and some things of him going back and forth as they move through. I guess this is supposed to be a blockade. Like, this is like 2 construction dividers with them to walk through. And then there's like 8 crates set on the ground. And there's this one little prop with a dude up here top. I assume that's a gun. Yeah. It literally is this simplistic. I mean, at least they did film on location. I will admit that I feel like I'm there, but okay. They imply they've been there for 7 years. The black dude's been there for 7 years. I'm like, wow, you guys have spaceships and stuff. You could have brought a whole lot more stuff. Just saying. Anyway, this is the fake mission where they basically are just like barking orders, and you're going here and you're going there. It all takes way too long. Then you get interacted with this guy. He picks him up, and there's this thing about like exchanging the pelts. All right, yeah. So he's going to walk them down. The family gets walked down, and basically they're assigned to be the guard. This is the communication stuff, and then there's this silly little pelt conversation back. The tribes guy says, "Tell him our ghosts have strong hands and long memories." Right. So black guy is the translator, and he says when he translates, he says, "May the eye find good in all of us." So he doesn't even translate. I don't know if he doesn't know the language as well as he thinks he does, or he just says that on purpose to keep the Empire guy, overconfident or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's a quick shot though where the tribe's leader flinches. See, he flinches like he knows that's not what was said. I don't know. They do these things so they don't explain it. They just keep moving. And then later, this guy throws the pelt in the fire, which I thought was like a sign of like resistance. Like it was going to be a symbol of pushing back or fighting or something unexpected. That was not the case. Nothing happened. Anyway, they get inside. They basically turn on the family. This is them pulling them at gunpoint. And then the older Imperial guy pulls the blaster. And of course, at the last minute, they're saved by the girl, right? Her name is like Sisha or something like that. I don't remember. I say all that, and I hate being facetious. If you like all those kind of details, it just, to me, it's all so generic and they don't matter. We know they don't survive to Rogue One. I don't care enough to get invested in any of these characters. There's this generic back and forth as you would expect because they have the family. Don't take the family, take me. It won't work. I can't open the vault. They, of course, know all this is a lie. They take them to the vault. We're about halfway. We keep them back to the village because these like little meteor, like celestial things that kind of fly over and distract everyone. Everyone oohs and ahs. And then the communication thing is kind of going awry. So in the Imperial Tower, they're picking up on pieces of the transmission. So this is Girl Boss Val, and she's throwing around orders, and and by the way, this is funny. Their gags look like COVID masks, by the way. Anyway, she's just barking order, being Girl Boss, who couldn't be a less intimidating girl boss compared to other movies. But yeah, look at this mask thing. It's kind of pulled over their faces. It barely fits the boy. Anyway, I digress. So this is a comms guy. He's actually like interested in trying to keep his job, and he's racing around. And basically, they pick up that they're in a vault. And then you end up with the firefight. The firefight starts. They got dudes on the ground taking these guys prisoner. And they're going to steal all of these credits. It's just weird the way they handle credits and these giant rolls and things like that. Like, it's just I don't know. I mean, they got away with it. Like, I guess they say they get away with 80 million credits, but it seems like a lot of, I don't know, a different way to move them around or get them so that you wouldn't have had to rely on the other guards to move them for you. So the lady that shot the dude and saved everybody, she's the one that stays behind up in here. So that comes into play. And we cut the tribes people. She does this thing where she turns the power off so that it's dark, and black dude can find his way in the tunnel, and he starts yelling at them all to kind of get moving. And that's what they do. And this is let's see, this is they cover the fire up because we got to see better because we have our spectacle. And then this is just so much of the scene, so much of the episode. Okay, so this was the cutaway. So most of the episode is just this back and forth of them moving things and like that. And they make him do stuff like that, and dude is just like, he's a mess. Like the cutaway is what everybody will talk about. This is what they're going to talk about. Alkenzi Air Command. TIE fighters are powering up. People are going to feel their naughty bits, getting very, very excited and nostalgic at the member berries of, oh, I always wanted to see what this was like, dude, or this reminds me of this game. I don't know. I don't know. Is it cool? Sure. Is it enough to save the episode? No. Okay. Other guys show up with guns. Shootout's going to ensue, and that's what's going to happen. And they figure out how to get Andor onto the ship to prep everything, and that's what he's doing. And then meanwhile, inside, what everyone wants to see is the TIE fighter powering up and getting ready to take off. There you go. There's your shot. I know. Everyone's excited. Cassian has a little hand-to-hand struggle with somebody. Gets the upper hand, of course, because he can't die because he's in another movie. And we have some shooting. And you have the tragic death of this character and that character before the shuttle thing goes. Now, when they blast off, right before they blast off or whatever, the old Imperial dude, the Colonel dude that's trying to get his family off, he has a heart attack and just dies. And that kind of creates some of the chaos. And when the ship blasts off, it throws all of the credits and stuff backwards and it crushes the kid that we all have grown to like. So, but sadly, their plan was not really well thought out because the kid is the only one who can like read the instrument, I guess, to figure out how to navigate them through this storm thing. See how the ship's flying around. So they drag him around. He's obviously paralyzed because I can't feel my legs. Andor doesn't know what to do. He's waiting for instructions. And they have this little meter box that they're doing while they're being followed by the TIE fighters. And he's reading it off this little meter box. Now, again, like I said, the theme in the last two episodes were about contingency plans and a new person and all of that. And I kept thinking to myself, everybody seems awfully incompetent. Andor's flying the ship, and this dude knows how to navigate through everything. Everyone else, like, they're just pulling trigger. That what good were they really? Anyway, so they're doing all that. This is they get away. TIE fighters blow up, and they get off planet. And the other girl kind of mixes herself back in. These are the shots of this thing that everyone's so excited about. Okay. And they're off world. And so know where they're going. They're going to go. There's this little quick comment about going to see a doctor to save the kid. And he makes, the other dude makes the case to go. And that's what Andor does because he's got to try to be a good person. And we get our first alien, I think, since episode 1, who I think only the girl in the brothel, maybe in the town in episode 1. I don't know there were any aliens. Anyway, here's our alien. It's a humanoid looking dude with stuff on his head who has 4 arms. There you go. Yeah, there you go. It literally is, because you can tell with the bulge right here and right here, I don't feel like they did a good enough job here of like this is literally like the guy in the shirt kind of thing. Like that's what we get for an alien. I don't know if that's exactly what they did or if they created some sort of mechanism. I got to be honest, the arms look good. So I had such a hard time believing this was prosthetic and a special effect. It was not actually somebody putting their hands through a shirt or something, because the bulge is here, but the arm comes through there and it's only a little bit of the forearm. So there could be someone there. This could be just a completely different person on this side. Or it could be this arm, and this is his arm, and that's his arm. That makes more sense. So this arm and this arm is the person behind him. I don't know. Maybe I'm obsessing over the wrong kinds of things. So Skeen, I do remember his name Skeen because it comes up in the subtitles like 16 times. He basically just says, all right, well, let's go to steal the credits. Half for you, half for me. I don't have a brother. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. I just want the money. What do you want to do? And Andor chit-chats with him a little bit. And then basically just decides to take care of it. So that's what's going to happen. They come along here, back it up just a shade, and get into here. This is the shade, and Andor, he's telling that Andor is playing like we can do this, and Andor just shoots him. There you go. That's our protagonist. Not take him inside and tell her so that she would know he's telling the truth. Just shoot him outside. Anyway, they cover the kid. Kid doesn't make it, and then goes inside and just like scoffing. He pulls off the crystal and says, "Give it to your boss. I'm taking the other. I did my job." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "No, hang on." And then she gives the kids the writings, and that's supposed to matter. And then we cut to the Empire that's holding a quick board meeting, and Mon Mothma is giving a speech that no one is listening to. And that's how it all ends, because basically the rebels. Oh, there's a quick shot of Luthien, the Stellan Skarsgård character. Very, very happy that all this has transpired. So very little. It's funny how they think that they contrived and made a whole lot of things happen, but a whole bunch of things are unresolved. Like the black dude that's embedded in the Imperial stuff, he's still on their planet. So how's he gonna get off, and how would he survive? The other girl that survived, they don't address her. She was still in like an Empire gear as well, embedded there with the villagers. So if they sneak out with the villagers, are trapped on planet, and the Imperials are going to be on red alert because they're having board meetings already. So that doesn't really get resolved. They're on a moon with all these credits, and she doesn't know how to fly the ship, at least presumably. She's by herself now because the other dude's dead, and there's the doctor, and that's it. So the doctor knows too much. And then Andor has got some sort of little book, and that's where we leave things. So it isn't the worst episode in the world. It is just it's just bloated. It's not as bad as other episodes where they walk and talk and nothing ever happens. At least things are happening. It just takes forever to get there. We don't need pieces. We didn't need the Imperial bickering scene over the son's garb. I think the cutaways to the villagers work fine. It should be cut so that they're shorter and faster, right? So to create the tension, what they should have done was the firefighting is happening, cut, tension, faster. TIE fighters are in the air. Like it should have been in a way that contrives and fits the pace and speeds things up and makes things work better. But as the audience members, we don't really care about most of the characters, even the kid. I mean, you grow to like the kid, but when he dies, it's not like you're going to be emotional, hashtag RIP Wade, my Kenobi reference. It's just milquetoast generic sci-fi. It doesn't feel like I'm in Star Wars. It's a bunch of people cosplaying Star Wars stuff, and I feel like fans have done it better. Fan films and stuff like that is better, and I'm just so not impressed. It's just a very bland, generic show that is presumably about the rebellion and rebel stuff. The rebels are not even bad guys enough. Like, we don't even, like I said, now it's another whole episode. We didn't cut away to Mon Mothma and all these other ones that she's been around, or these other Imperial baddies that we're supposed to, I guess, love to hate. I don't know. We don't. They're just there. I don't know. And the Imperial inspector guy doesn't come up. There you go. Wish I could tell you there was more. There's really not more. So I'm Pop. Listen, a lot of people have been divided on the show. So tell me what you think. Maybe you love the show. Tell me, give me more than I like the show. Tell me what you like about the show. Do you like Andor? This episode, he can fly a ship, and he shoots a guy or two. There you go. But why do you like the show? What is it about the show that makes you look forward to the next episode, or that you're really engaged? So let me know.